just introduce yourself and share a little bit about your professional background?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me, Jeremy. My name is Travis Tallent. I work at Brainlabs as the VP of SEO, overseeing a team of about 50. Brainlabs is a global marketing agency, full service, with about 1,100 employees, although we keep growing through acquisitions. And my role and responsibility is to oversee our SEO product and make sure that the account teams have the appropriate talent, tech, tools, and process to do their jobs exceptionally well.
Well, can I ask, why did you go into marketing?
Yeah, I think if you ask most people in marketing this question, many of them will have a similar story in that they just kind of stumbled into it. My degrees were in economics and political science, but I was in the Boulder startup scene over at CU Boulder. And when you are a part of a startup, you wear many, many hats. And that's how I got my foot in the door in marketing, building a universal scholarship search engine, and going through the motions to do market research, to get the word out there about the tool. After that, ended up working at a marketing agency, W Promote, out in Los Angeles, where they really taught me the ropes. I got paid to learn all of these wonderful skills like SEO, paid search, paid social, and that very much launched my career to where I am today.
What qualities or attributes would you say are kind of most beneficial for someone who has an interest in kind of the functional or technical things that you look at and work on every day?
It's curiosity. Marketing is always changing, especially SEO. I'm sure you've heard the news of ChatGPT as of late, and how AI is getting integrated into search and all of that. That's not the only constant in our industry is change. So really finding someone who's curious to learn about that change and someone who is self-motivated to take the initiative to learn about that change. I think those two qualities will take you further than anything else.
What do you find most challenging about the work that you do on a day-to-day basis?
I think it's always people, right? Any job you do, it's challenging working with people, and really understanding what makes them tick, what motivates them, what excites them, what their expectations are. And then, of course, doing all of that similarly to make sure that there's compromise in the middle there. So my job in particular, I have to do that with clients such as Adidas, Capital One, all the way over to internal team members that are sometimes on the other side of the world and see the world very differently than you. So it's a challenge, but it's also a very welcomed challenge because as you go through those motions, you end up being rewarded in beautiful ways once you see the outcome of those types of relationships and what you're able to accomplish together.
What are the major kind of responsibilities or kind of pillars that you would say represent, every job has that long tail of like, oh, there's a super long tail of things that we do. But what are the main ones that comprise the 80 or 90% core of your role today? What are you doing day to day?
I would say about 40% of my work is spent ensuring quality of our product. And that includes QAing work that's done by the team, setting up rehearsals for any presentations we're doing so I could give feedback to the team before it goes out to the client. So that's about 40% of my work. I would say another 20% is external thought leadership. So emceeing conferences, I'll be emceeing Search Love in March. Very excited for that. As well as writing articles, being featured in Moz, Search Engine Journal, doing these types of chats, right? That's about 20% of my work. And then the other 40% of my work is related to new business. Ultimately vetting clients' needs that vetting prospect needs as they come in. So then we can ultimately identify what proposal, what team, what service resources do we need to make this compelling for them to choose Brainlabs as their marketing partner.
You mentioned a minute ago, ChatGPT and AI. We're sitting here, it's 2023 right now. Outside of that one, which seems to be this cloud theme that's just kind of like overhanging everything, what are some of the major kind of market trends or themes that you think are most interesting or worthwhile to be talking about?
One thing that ChatGPT and that AI getting integrated into search, what underpins all of that is this notion to provide the audience with the right answer, right? Regardless of how you do that, that has been the objective for a very, very long time. And I think today it's just changing the way that we do that a bit. So that's definitely a trend that has been true for a while, but I think is evolving as we see it today. How do we ultimately answer what people are searching for? The other trend we're seeing is really a convergence of multiple channels. So SEO really used to be only thought of as content and a little bit of technical stuff, and now it's about user experience and how do we pull in conversion rate optimization into our efforts. And what we're finding through our own experience is when we pull in these other channels and really reflect on how do we create a holistic consumer journey across paid search and paid social and SEO and CRO, you end up with far better results and a far more comprehensive understanding of who your audience is and what they're ultimately after. And that is a trend that has been bubbling up for some time, but I think as that convergence continues, you're seeing this interplay between people hyper specializing into one of those channels and then people really needing to understand multiple channels so then which to push and pull at any point in that strategy.
So at some point in your career, you made a transition from being a practitioner, an individual contributor, into a leadership role. Why did you decide to make that transition for yourself? And I have some follow-up questions there on leadership.
For me, leadership is far more rewarding. Don't get me wrong. I love SEO. It's fun. It's great to see those results go up month over month. But leadership for me and that type of relationship building and leaning into the people challenges that I chatted about a little bit earlier, there's nothing that compares that. It really it motivates me to get better every day. I also think that my upbringing and my personal experience really lends its hand to leadership well. I come from a poor single mom background and was fortunate enough to get scholarships to go through college, and it really just totally unveiled this new world to me that seemed so out of touch growing up. Later on, being a member of the LGBTQ community, empathy just like runs through my veins, and that is essential. I've found in a leadership role.
It's technical team, or it's not a team of engineers, but there's a technical component to the work that's being done. What do you think makes a great leader of a technical team? Do they need to be really good at the work itself? Is it more of a people position? Can you dig into that for me?
Both are valuable. What I will say is I think in any technical role, you have folks who make the tech run better, and then you have folks who are really visionaries in how that tech can be applied and how that tech can be used. I think I definitely fall more in the latter, but I need to be involved in those former conversations and lean into our individual contributors who are the subject matter experts on that tech, right? So I'm definitely someone who believes that in order to lead a team successfully, you need to speak the same language, but you don't necessarily need to have the same knowledge as your team from a technical perspective.
So next one for you. Part of our belief here at my company is that everyone has a story, and that those stories are worthwhile to be telling. You've touched on a little bit of your background in terms of your upbringing, and your association identification with the LGBTQ community. Can you give me the high level overview of Travis? Like who are you as a person? What things have helped shape you? What experiences or uniqueness is there about you as a person?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Colorado Springs, fairly conservative place, absolutely gorgeous though, and it was a great place to grow up. I feel very, very thankful to have grown up there. And as I mentioned, my mom was a single parent after my parents got divorced. My father was abusive and a drug addict, and it was just a really tough upbringing till about 8 when my mom made the bold decision, and certainly very challenging decision at the time, knowing the the financial situation to leave. It was a bit rocky for a few years, and then it definitely settled down once my mom was able to set up her house painting business and get a few recurring clients who owned multiple properties and that type of stuff. So I would go to the work site with her, sometimes helping her paint, sometimes just, reading a book or playing on my Game Boy. And that very much taught me that I definitely want to use my brain to do work as opposed to my body. My mom today has gone through 2 shoulder replacements, a hip replacement. That type of physical labor is very, very hard. And I've seen that firsthand, and I'm thankful that I get to use my mind for my work. So, coming from a first generation college family, I was fortunate enough to have mentorship in high school from everywhere. From my band teacher, I play the sax, and all the way over to the college counselor, who was really able to identify scholarships that apply to me and encourage me to go for those. And then went off to CU Boulder for college. Had a great experience, but that was really the first time in my life when I was faced with people who didn't grow up like me and come from very different backgrounds. And it's very normal for folks who attend CU Boulder to be able to afford to go skiing every weekend, and that was obviously not my upbringing and the types of experience that I had. But I'm so thankful that I got to be embedded into that network, because I think that has very much opened up many doors and opportunities. So then today, when I do get around to having kids, I feel confident knowing that they are going to be stitched up to a network far greater than I ever was as a kid, and I'm excited to see how that impacts their lives and what that ultimately means for them.
Well, Travis, excuse me, horsey there. Travis, I really appreciate it. I enjoyed learning about you, your background, your story, your path to your role today. And as I mentioned, I think that there's someone out there that's going to watch this one day and say, "Hey, I like that direction," and I appreciate the willingness to share. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation, Jeremy.
Absolutely. All right.